Howdy folks, I'm Slick Sled, speedily sliding across slippery snow.
I'm Amber.
And here is more slippery snow for us to slide across, careen around, and then smash into some trees. And then you'll wake up in the hospital reading Reddit. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Going Off at My Sister-in-Law After She Ruined Christmas for All of Our Kids by Telling Them that Santa Claus is just a myth and that we buy the presents. So, okay, I'm a little torn here, but honestly, I think that I'm in the right. I just need some outside perspective. So a bit of context. I'm a 32-year-old female, and I have two kids, a 6-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son. And we've always gone all out for Christmas. Like, I'm talking about Christmas lights that can probably be seen from space, decorating cookies, watching all of the Christmas movies, and of course, the magic of Santa Claus. We've always wanted to make Christmas special for them, especially since they're still at that age where they truly believe in the whole Santa thing. And for me, that's the fun part, watching them light up when they see the presents under the tree and hearing them talk about Santa's reindeer in the North Pole. It's just magic, you know? Anyways, this year, we had Christmas at my house. We set everything up, and the kids were beyond excited. And we stayed up late wrapping gifts and putting them under the tree. My husband and I do all of it, everything from assembling bikes to stuffing the stockings. The whole thing is a labor of love. Now, here's where things all went south. We were sitting around the living room on Christmas Eve after dinner. The kids are getting a bit hyper and asking random questions like they do. And somehow the topic of Santa came up. My son asked Aunt Sarah, how does Santa get all the presents under the tree? I swear, I thought that she would just say something vague like, oh, that's a good question, or deflect like most adults do when they don't want to lie, but also don't want to spoil the magic either. But no, instead, Sarah, my sister-in-law, looks at my son dead in the eyes and says, honey, Santa isn't real. It's just your parents who buy the presents and put them under the tree. Santa's just a story. I'm sorry to break it to you. I was in complete shock. The room was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. My daughter's face just fell, like she was trying to process what she just heard. My son, on the other hand, looked like he was about to burst into tears and asked, so you and Daddy bought all the presents? There's no Santa? I can't even describe the anger that hit me in that moment. I was livid, not just because she told them, but because of how casually she did it, like it was no big deal, like she had the right to destroy their excitement and their belief in the magic of Christmas. I tried to keep it together, but I could feel my blood boiling. I said something along the lines of, Sarah, what is wrong with you? You don't get to ruin Christmas for my kids. We're their parents, and we're the ones who decide when they're ready to know the truth. You just took away the one thing that's magical for them. How could you do that? She looked totally unbothered, like she was proud of herself for telling the truth. She even said something along the lines of, like, I don't like lying to kids, and it's better that they know sooner than later. At this point, I was done. I turned to my husband and said, we're done here. I asked Sarah to leave, and she didn't even try to apologize. She just said, whatever, I'm not going to apologize for telling the truth. My brother, her husband, called me later and told me that I was overreacting. He said it was no big deal and I should have just let it go. He said, it's just Santa, it's not that serious. But honestly, to me, it was a big deal. Santa is magic. It's something that we create as parents to give our kids a sense of wonder. What she did was selfish, cruel, and totally out of line. Anyways, Christmas was ruined for the kids, and I can't stop feeling like she totally destroyed the one thing they were excited about. My daughter didn't talk much about it the rest of the day, but I could tell that she was upset. My son kept asking if Santa was real, and I tried to comfort him as best as I could, but I could tell that the magic was gone. So, am I the jerk for blowing up on my sister-in-law? I'm really upset that she did this, and now I feel like I've lost a little bit of that Christmas magic for my kids this year. Alright folks, what do you think?
I mean, sister-in-law definitely overstepped here. I don't blame OP for kicking sister-in-law out of the house after that.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of one of the cardinal rules is you don't get to tell other people's kids whether Santa is real or not.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think OP handled it great, but also, I understand not really knowing what to do in the moment. And I do think OP places a little too much emphasis on Santa here. Like, if the kids' entire Christmas was ruined because they thought Santa wasn't real, then maybe it's time to rethink how they're doing their traditions because, you know,
Yeah.
they still got presents from their parents. They still got to do the cookie baking, the watching the holiday movies. There's so much more to Christmas and Santa.
Yeah, and plus maybe OP could have said something to the effect of like, "Oh, your Aunt Sarah's joking," or "Your Aunt Sarah's just mad because Santa doesn't bring her presents," or
Yeah.
something to that effect, where it doesn't necessarily undermine what she's saying, but I mean, it just kind of doesn't give credence to what she's saying or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's a really unfortunate situation because who does this to kids on Christmas Eve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just a rude thing to do. So I think that Sarah really deserved to get kicked out
Mm-hmm.
because she really messed up pretty big here. I mean, I understand not wanting to lie to kids. I really do. But as an adult, you have to kind of steer the conversation at that point in time and say, well, what do you think? How do you think that Santa gets all the presents under the tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
And instead of just being outright and saying, if you don't want to lie to them. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And disastrous code 3473 says, I would have lost it. She is a jerk, not the jerk clearly. And OP replies, the biggest jerk I know. And Epiphany Sunday says, not the jerk, and you have a bigger problem. Two children who may pass this on to other kids that aren't ready for it. And OP replies, my sister-in-law won't be coming over for Christmas anymore, that's for sure. I mean, I think the horse I think that's like closing the gate after the horse has already left at this point in time, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, degree 729 says, not the jerk. What has to be broken in you to tell a 4-year-old that Santa isn't real on Christmas Eve? And OP replies, she's just a big jerk for this. And Zagozen says, not the jerk, your sister is a real-life Grinch. There's only a few years between when a kid comes online and gets Christmas to eventually finding out that Santa isn't real from friends at school, like between ages 4 and 8, where one can truly believe in Santa. Your sister stole those precious few Christmases from them. I would be livid. And OP replies, you're absolutely right. She is a real Grinch, and I'm just so disappointed in her. Alright, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Letting My Cousin Play White Elephant? I'm a 30-year-old male. My parents threw a Christmas party, and we always play White Elephant/Dirty Santa. We brought 2 gifts for my wife, a 27-year-old female, and I. While my wife was feeding the baby, the game started. My little cousin said that he forgot a gift, so I told him that he could use one of ours. When my wife came out, I told her, and she seemed fine, and we played together. At the end, I picked a different gift to steal than what she wanted, but again, she seemed fine. When we got home, she told me that she was really upset, that she had picked out the gifts to bring, and then didn't even get a chance to play. It's just a game, and she didn't say anything in the moment, so I'm confused as to why she's mad now. All the gifts were just stuff that we can buy whenever we want. I really didn't think that she would mind that I let my cousin play instead. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Opie's definitely a jerk here. Like, he could have given up his prize to the cousin and let his wife play instead. Like, if he really wanted the cousin to play, it was his job to give up his turn.
Yeah, and plus, how old is this cousin?
Right.
Right? They're old enough that their parents aren't buying them gifts.
Right. Exactly. You know, and if they're a kid, their parents should have gotten the gift for them. But also, why is the whole family playing while his wife is feeding the baby?
Yeah, I mean, this is really not good. He should have stood up for her here and just said, oh, let's not actually start the game until she gets in, right? I think that it was really poor form for the family to do this. And I think it was especially poor form for OP not to mention anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because far too often, women get subsumed, their identities get subsumed into motherhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that's part of what she's upset about, is that she wants to be viewed more than just the baby's caretaker, right?
Right. She's an equal person, and she's not being treated as a person in her own right. She's just there.
Mm-hmm. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. Angelic Saint.
Oh, I do not like this. The wheel needs some retraining.
The wheel needs to be recalibrated.
Yes, wheel, don't be a misogynist, please.
Alright, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for calling my soon-to-be ex-husband a psycho for putting the news of our divorce in the kids' presence? My soon-to-be ex-husband and I have been married for a long time, but we're getting divorced soon. We've had our fair share of fights here and there, which is normal for any couple. But he's the type of man who complains a lot and makes a ton of demands, and rarely does he acknowledge me or include me in big decisions. Things have been bad between us for a while, but it got worse when he got his diagnosis. He's suffering from a medical condition. While I sympathize with his condition, I knew that this was going to be the end of our marriage. I knew that I could not handle this version of him with his condition and all. So I was very honest with him, and I told him that I wanted a divorce. He was open to it, yet resentful towards me. But he has been for a while now, so yeah. We agreed to tell the kids after Christmas and just be together as a family and enjoy the holidays. Well, he wanted to be petty and get back at me, but I didn't think that he would go to such lengths. In the morning, when our kids, they're 13 and 15 by the way, opened their Christmas presents, they were shocked to find their dad and I were getting a divorce. Their dad had printed this on paper and put the papers in their gift boxes. It was horrible, especially the way he worded it. Merry Christmas, your mom is divorcing me. The house turned into a crying mess. He wasn't even there. He went to get coffee or whatever. He knew what was going to happen, thus he left the house in the morning. I didn't know what to do. I tried my best to get them to calm down, and then I called my mom. He came, and I absolutely blew up at him, and I called him a psycho for doing this to the kids, on Christmas no less. He defended himself, saying that I was no better for deciding to end our marriage right after his diagnosis. I told him it was more because of his awful character than anything else. But he has tainted my image to the kids, and now they think that I'm leaving him for his condition and refusing to speak to me. It got out to the in-laws, and they've gotten involved. He told everyone that I called him a psycho and yelled at him for telling the truth to the kids. They came at me, especially his mother, who hated me all these years for no apparent reason. She called me a B and said that if my relationship with my kids was ruined, then it's because of my own doing, and that I have no one to blame except for myself for being such an awful wife and mother. It escalated, he's moving out, and the kids are with mom. I'm feeling utterly devastated right now, but starting to think that my outburst was unnecessary. I called him a psycho and caused the scene instead of de-escalating the situation. Edit, his condition is physical, not mental. All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, I don't like the uses of the word psycho here, but I think OP is definitely well within their right to be really upset about what this person has done.
Yeah.
It was completely inexcusable. And he is a manipulative person. Like, if this is indicative of his character, I can see why OP wouldn't want to be married to him, illness aside.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is just a part of a larger trend. He doesn't seem like a very nice person, and he seems like he's very vindictive, and he's making all these decisions without OP. And, you know, if you're a bad person, then you can't expect someone to want to stay with you, right? And I certainly, you know, like your marriage vows say in sickness and health, but if things have been bad for a long time and OP has been trying to, you know, get away from him for a while, I can understand why they would want to end things, right?
Well, and I mean, the way he has been controlling the whole narrative, like OP, they were planning on waiting after Christmas and having, you know, their nice little time, and he used that time instead of taking a breather to strategically plan how to make OP look terrible to their kids, and to make OP look terrible to everyone else. He's controlled the entire narrative. Like, do people actually know that he put this note in the kids' Christmas presents?
Yeah, I think that OP should take something like this post and put it to Facebook to kind of clarify what happened. I know having your dirty laundry hang out there like that isn't great, but I don't know what else they can do at a certain point.
Right. Well, and start talking to a lawyer ASAP, because and document this. This could be considered parental alienation. I know they're not divorced yet, but I mean, very clearly he's trying to alienate the kids from OP.
Yeah. And then maybe family counseling at this point in time to start working with the kids and having them communicate with OP again. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Today I messed up by giving an incest-themed white elephant gift. I'm a 35-year-old female and my husband is a 31-year-old male, and their family has a Christmas tradition with the white elephant gift exchange where one of the gifts is a Donnie and Marie Barbie doll. The tradition is whoever gets them must bring them back for the following Christmas with a new outfit and a poem about their stay with you. Well, 2 years ago, I finally got Donnie and Marie. However, we couldn't bring them back the following year as we were all sick. So this year, we had to make it good. Over the 2 years that we had the dolls, I had gotten pregnant and gave birth to our second son. So I thought, let's make Marie pregnant as an added bonus. Let's make them renew their vows and dress them in a wedding dress and suit. So skip to Christmas Eve when we're coming to the last few presents. We started at 16 and people are getting antsy about who will find the Donnie and Marie. Our cousin, a 19-year-old female, picks up the box and starts opening it to find a very pregnant Marie. I used modeling clay in a wedding dress and a snazzy Donnie. Some of the aunts and uncles start talking and mentioning that Donnie and Marie are brother and sister, as in Donnie and Marie Osmond. My husband didn't know their last names and never really paid attention to the stories from previous years. I knew their last name, but assumed that they were married. My husband was like, "What? Well, it's just wait for the poem then." With each line our cousin reads, people are crying from laughter as it gets worse and worse. Buckle up because here's the poem that we wrote. We are sorry we missed seeing you all last year. We were sick, but are now back and full of cheer. To fill you all in on our long time away, we wore our outfits from our favorite last day. We renewed our vows and remarried while we were gone. We tried to invite you, but got the addresses all wrong. Afterwards, our party was such a huge blast, but whoops, we got pregnant. It happened so fast. Now we're scrambling, preparing our home. Donnie's covering the house in protective foam. But he's a bit of a nutball, but I think he'll be fine, just as long as he feeds me and stays in line. My cravings are kicking in, so I'll make this fast. If I don't get my chocolate pickles, this day is Donnie's last. Just know that every Christmas memory we forever hold dear, so please make sure you bring us to celebrate next year. We are so excited for what the future holds. I guess you never know how your story unfolds. So for whoever has us next year, just keep this in mind. We can't wait to see what adventure life leads us to find. This ended up making this Christmas one of the funniest and best Christmases we've had in a long time. All right, folks, well, what do you think of this story here?
I mean, I think it's very silly. I like it. I honestly, before this, did not realize that, like, I had heard of Donnie and Marie Osmond, but I didn't know much about them, and so I had no idea they were brother and sister. I assumed they were a couple.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know much about the Osmonds, and I think they were a little bit before my time. I do know that they sang, well, Donnie did sing a part in the Mulan song, I'll Make a Man Out of You, I think it is. But that's about all I know from them, and that's from comments.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, I know Jackie Chan sings the Mandarin version. I believe he's the both the Mandarin and Cantonese versions, but
Yeah. So, I think that this was a innocent mistake, and they're of course not going to have known that. I mean, if they did it intentionally just to mess with people, that would be one thing, but I mean, I don't think this is as much of a mess up as they think it is. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
I watched a turtle take a picture on its phone. It was a shelfie.
Oh, haha, that's actually not too bad. A shelfie is pretty good. And I have Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy, wonderful Wednesday, folks. I hope your Wednesday is off to a great start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it a little bizarre.
If you're going to wed dolls, it always helps to check whether they're related first. I don't know.
Yeah.
You said make it bizarre, so.
That is some advice. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.